Hi guys, welcome to Mobitude. I am Karthik. Today in this session, let us learn about what is cross-platform applications, what are progressive web applications and web designs. So before going to the session, if you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly click on subscribe button and press the bell icon. And if you have not and if you are having any questions, kindly email me at karthik10988@gmail.com. So let us start our session. What is cross platform application? So cross platform application development provides the great cost saving advantage. Why? Because by developing one application, it can be it can be used on multiple platforms such as iPhone or Android or Windows, iOS, Android or Windows. So means one application will be developing and we can use it in multiple platform. So cross platform apps refers to ORA, WORA, means write once, run anywhere. Here, the piece of code written once in platform can run on multiple platform. So these are essentially in native applications built using JavaScript or C Sharp. Okay, so these applications are built using JavaScript or C Sharp. Okay, so this cross-platform native application works similarly to the standard native applications, because as they are built using the platform operating system APIs and SDK, and it is having full access to the device features. So let us see how the application has been developed. Here this code, business logic, data access layer, this code has been developed using the language JavaScript or C Sharp. This code will be binded, it will be binded with the native codes, that is Android or iOS or Windows applications to develop the UI. Here the applications is built using this layer using JavaScript or C Sharp, which will be the code will be binded with the code will be binded with the native codes to create the UI layer. Here 20 to 40% are developed using the native code and 60 to 80% are developed using the JavaScript or C Sharp. This 20 to 40% code also depends on the complexity of the UI. So the native code is developed only for 20 to 40%, and the remaining code, this code has been developed using the JavaScript or C Sharp. So suppose for an example, if a developer wants to develop the Android application, he will develop all the business logic layer and remaining layers by using JavaScript and C Sharp, JavaScript or C Sharp. If the UI only will be developed using the native language, that is Java or Kotlin. But the same application, if a developer wants to develop, no need of rewriting this code. He can reuse the same code, whatever he has developed for Android, he can reuse the same code and start developing the UI layer only for the iOS. So that's why it is mentioned as write once, run anywhere. Here the business logic is shared between the mobile native apps. The business logic is shared between the apps, while the UI is rebuilt specifically for the each platform. So this UI layer takes all full advantage of the native user experience and maintain the consistency of the business logic between the platforms. So let us discuss about the benefits of the cross-platform application. The first benefits of the cross-platform application is code reusability. So here a single code can be used for multiple platform, so it's off of the effort and time as compared to native app development. And cost effectiveness, as the code can be reused, the development cost is very less and it can be released very fast to the market. So since the turnaround of the development is more, the application will be available on multiple platform, and same the release can happen together in the multiple platform. So let us see some of the drawbacks of the native applications. Drawbacks of the cross-platform applications. Here, the first drawback is the user experience. So as only 20 to 30% of the native code is been involved by the native, so the UI is not so much attractive like the native applications. So in the cross-platform application, the UI is not so much attractive than the native applications. That is one of the drawback over here. And as there are third parties framework and APIs are being involved, there is a security issues. But in native applications, there is more, the applications are more secure because of the native frameworks and the API. But in cross-platform, they have to depend on the third-party applications. The another drawback of the cross-platform application is the integration. So the integrating the cross-platform application with your device local settings and notification is little difficult over here. That is one of the drawback of the cross-platform application. So this cross-platform application is nowadays very trending, and most of the applications are been choosing this cross-platform only to save the development cost. So let us see what are the different types of cross-platform applications are available in the market, the tools are available in the market, and what languages they use to develop it. So let us see here. So here are the below is the list of the cross-platform development tools. So you can see the cross-platform tool: Apache Cordova, PhoneGap, Ionic Framework, Framework 7, Apache Weeks, React Native, NativeScript, Flutter, Jasonet, Xamarin. So almost from the Cordova till Jasonet, they use the JavaScript only, most of them. But the Xamarin is the Microsoft tool which will be used with the language called C#. So you can see the platform which they support as well over here, and the applications which are developed using this Cordova is GoodDog, Adobe PhoneGap. So so you can see Apache Weeks over here. The Alibaba application is developed using this Weeks, and your Facebook, Walmart, Skype, SoundCloud, Music, these are all used by the React Native. Means here the React Native is the JavaScript, the React framework. Using the React framework, they have developed the applications here. So these are some of the cross-platform development tools available in the market, but I cannot tell you that which is better because it's none of our business as a test engineer. So this is about the cross-platform application. So these applications are developed using the either JavaScript or C#, where the UI are built by the native code, but the business logic and everything are developed using the language JavaScript or C#. So this is about the cross-platform applications. So let us discuss about the next type of application, that is progressive web application, and it is very nice application. So let us see why it is nice and everything. So progressive web apps. So the application, the progressive web apps is a web app that uses the modern capabilities to deliver an app like experience to the users without installing. So remember, without installing, you can use this as a mobile app. Without installing, you can use it as a mobile app, and no need of installing from the App Store or Play Store. So it can be installed. How it can be installed, I'll show you now. So usually the native applications or the hybrid application, if you want to install, what was happening, the process is, so the application was developed and it was loaded to the App Store or the Play Store. Then the user need to search for the application. Once the application is displayed, the user used to download that or install that. So once it has been installed successfully, the application accepts the permissions. If there is any permissions, microphone or something, the microphone, audio, video, the permissions and everything, it will be accepted, and the user will be using the application. But in progressive web application, it is very simple. Enter the URL in the browser and convert it as a mobile app. So enter the URL and convert it to mobile app. It's very simple, progressive web apps. So I will show you the demonstration of this. What is this progressive web apps? So look at the screen. So let us see the progressive web apps, how it will be. So you can find my mobile screen here. So it's very simple. So I'll show you the application Myntra. So I don't have Myntra application here. I'll show you Make My Trip. Yes, I do have a Make My Trip. This is a mobile app. So I'm just opening the Google Chrome browser. So I'll just type Myntra application, myntra.com. I'm just typing Myntra. So I got the Myntra application in myntra.com. So I'm tapping on that. So you can see this view here. So here you can see the Myntra application. So now, are you able to see these three dots here? You are able to see this we call it as an action overflow button, or we call it as a and button. So I'll click on that. So you can see there is an option called add to home screen. Now I'll click on this add to home screen. So I'll get an option called cancel or add. I'll click on add. Okay, so we will see where this application will be there. See, I'm killing the application, that Myntra, the Google Chrome, I'm just killing out. So see here, if I type Myntra, yes, I got the Myntra application. So what we did, we opened the Google Chrome browser, we enter the Myntra application, myntra.com, or just mention the Myntra. So we selected myntra.com over there. Then we went to action overflow button and selected as add to home screen. Now I have taken this application from the URL. Now you can see when I open this Myntra, it's launching like a mobile app. So this is what we call it as a progressive web application. So the same way, I will show one more example on Make My Trip. So I am already having the makemytrip.com application. Still I will open Make My Trip. So it will ask, should I open it? Yes, Make My Trip. So you can see it's a makeMyTrip.com URL. It's an URL. makeMyTrip.com is the URL. So I'll go to cross and button. I'll type. I will click on add to home screen. So I'll click on add button. Now so let me kill the Google Chrome. So you can see now sorry, 1 second. Yes. So makeMyTrip.com. So I'll click on add to home screen. Now I get an add button. I'm clicking on add. So there was an internet issue. Now so add makeMyTrip to home screen. It has been added over there. It's already added. Now I'll kill this Chrome browser. Now if I type makeMyTrip, so I should get two applications. One is the Android app which is already installed, and one is the progressive web app. See the progressive web app, this is the progressive web app. So it is displaying over here as an application. So I will just open the mobile app also, makeMyTrip.com, makeMyTrip mobile app. See, there is not so much of difference between the mobile app and the progressive web app. You can see there is not so much of difference. Okay, so if you see you cannot ensure whether it's an app or a mobile browser. So here the progressive web apps, so I'll show you one more thing is, so I'm going to settings. So I'm having two applications. One is makeMyTrip app and one is makeMyTrip. This is makeMyTrip app and this is the PWA, progressive web app. See the memory of it. So makeMyTrip 220 MB and this is 360 MB, that is usage. So let me show you the actual app size. So the app size, the native app size is 73.45 MB of the makeMyTrip, 73.45 MB of the makeMyTrip. And if I see the app size of the makeMyTrip progressive website, see it is just 233 KB. So it is just the 233 KB. This is the main benefit of the progressive web apps. Not only this, so in nowadays it has the progressive web apps established in the web applications also. So if I type the application by name, so I'll open Android Studio. Android Studio. So you can see developer.android.com. I click on that. See the URL got loaded, but you can see here there is a plus icon. you can see this, there is a plus icon. So if you click on this plus icon, it will ask to install. So I'll click on install. See, the plus icon disappeared and the application only disappeared from the web page, and it has came like a mobile, it's like a web app. So, and you can see it has been stored as a web app in the desktop. So it is the progressive web apps. It is available for the desktop also, but this happens only through the Chrome browser. But if I open Firefox, and type Android developer.android.com, see, you won't get that one. So the plus icon, you won't get that one. So this is not support, the progressive web apps doesn't support the other browsers, expect the Chrome browsers. Okay, so this is about the progressive web app demonstration. So why the application, you got to know that this the application, so enter the URL in the browser and use it as a mobile app, So why it is the term progressive web apps was coined by the designer Frances Berryman, Francis Berryman, and the Google Chrome engineer by name Alex Russell. So they both introduced this in 2015 as a progressive web apps, but nowadays these web apps are getting trending, and most of them have been using the so many applications. So I showed you that Android applications, these are all the progressive web apps only, so web applications only. So let us see the characteristics of the progressive web apps. So progressive web apps is progressive because it works for every users. So it works for every users. So an enhancement, the progressive enhancement at its core. So, and the another characteristics are responsive. It fits on any form factor. It may be desktop, I showed you in the desktop, and mobile or the tablet, and it is fresh. So the auto refresh after each content, if you are the update will be happening, for example, so you don't get the auto refresh content. So every time it doesn't load, it loads like an application only, so it gets auto refreshed, and it provides the app like user interface. Okay, so it provides the app like user interface, and then the navigations and the interaction you can do it as how you do it in the native or the hybrid applications. And it is installable, so the user can save it to their home screen without downloading the application. It is easy installable, and you can share this progressive web apps to your friends through sharing medias and everything, so they can also download that, and it is fast comparing to the your network. So these are some of the characteristics of the progressive web apps. So let us see some of the benefits of this progressive web apps. Low on data. You see, I showed you that the application, the native or the hybrid app, will take more than some MBs. In MBs it will take, but the progressive application, it will take it in the kbs. So that is the low on data, means the data is very low, and the space also you can allocate in your mobile device. So no installation, that is one of the benefits. So no need of installing them, just open the url. So enter the url, go to the and button, click on add to home screen, and it will be added, and you can use it as a mobile app. So and it is sharing. So how you will share the apps and everything, you can also share this progressive web app url. So let us see about the drawbacks of the progressive web apps. So there are two drawbacks. First drawback is this support. So it doesn't support for all the browsers, especially native browsers in your Samsung or the Firefox mobile. So and Xiaomi Mi browsers. So it doesn't support, the progressive web apps doesn't support, supports only for the Google Chrome browsers. And like the fingerprint sensors and everything will not work, and that is one of the drawback of the progressive web apps. So this is about the progressive web applications. So here so you learnt on the cross platform applications and the progressive web application. So these two applications are ruling the off, almost not off, is 75% of the mobile industry. And if you want to test nowadays, you know, to test web application, mobile app and the progressive web app also, remember this. So now the designs are getting very fast. So these are the three types of applications you will be testing: web application, mobile web application, mobile application, and the progressive web applications. So let us discuss about the web designs. So in the last sessions, in the last video, we watched about the web apps. There I used one word called responsive web applications or responsive websites. So what is this responsive website? We'll look into this in this chapter, that is web designs. So in web designs there are four types of web designs. So there are four types of web designs. One is static, one is liquid, one is adaptive, and one is responsive. So let us see what is this static, what is this liquid design, what is this adaptive, and what are the responsive designs. Yeah. Okay guys, here on the screen you can see there is one website which tells detailedly about the different types of web design, that is the static, responsive, liquid, and the adaptive. So it's a liquid appsive. So you can see the spelling here, liquidappsive.com. So it has changed. This is the URL. So g-mobs.net. So this is the URL. So if you come to this site, you can easily understand what is the static, liquid, adaptive, and the responsive. But still I'll show the demonstration over here. See here, static. So you can select the four types of web designs here, that is static. So I'll select static here. Now I'll just restore the window. Observe here, I restore the window. See the layout. Okay, this layout, whatever the layout is there, you can see the borders here, you can see the borders. This layout doesn't change here. So if I restore also, see here, I am restoring. So while restoring, you can see you got the horizontal scroll bar here, So the design will be static. So this design will be static, so you need to use the horizontal scroll bar to see the remaining content. So this type of application we call it as a static application. The definition: static layouts are the traditional web once design that sits in the center of the page and requires horizontal scrolling if the windows is too small for it. So this is how the M dot sites are the traditional answer to this, providing a wholly separate site for lower resolution and all the work of the creating a separate site. So there is a definition as well about the static website. But if I select the liquid, so you can see now what will happen for the liquid. See, if you resize the window, it starts getting overlapped like this. So it's getting fluid. So this is called liquid or the fluid. It's also called as fluid. So the response adaptive means, so adaptive is characterized by having defined layouts for different resolution. Within each layout, resizing the window does not change the layout. So it doesn't change the layout. If I do the, see here, it gets adjusted like that. For responsive, so almost is the same. See, you can see. So for the responsive, if you press F12 in your window, in the keypad, so you will get the mobile responsive over here. So you can see the responsive over here. So changing, see, I'll change the to Moto, so it gets adjusted to the particular screen size. So if I change it to iPhone X, it gets adjusted, the screen gets adjusted to that particular size. So this is about the responsive side. So this is about today's session. So in my next session, so I'll be covering on what is mobile software development life cycle. So what is MSDLC, and we'll be covering on how the requirements will be coming to you in these sessions and everything. And this is very important session as well. So stay tuned. So thank you for